Thank you to our friendly patrons, Strawbones, World 4665, and a Midnight Gemlord. What even is Aldan? Like, genuinely. It's a sacred treasure, obviously. It's Merlin's sacred treasure, in fact. But, like, what is it? Because we never actually learn. It is just a magical ball. Like, does the power come from the ball itself, or is it just Merlin doing Merlin things with it? Like, we know Dabuzu made it. That's it. We know he made it. He made every single sacred treasure. Somehow, some way. Some of them I just don't know how he made, but another story for another time. But, like, Aldan, out of all the sacred treasures we saw, is the only one whose abilities we never actually got an explanation for. It can do a lot of things. It can act as, like, a magical channel for all Merlin's abilities. It can store her soul in case her main body is ever compromised. But, like, none of these were the actual sacred treasure release. And note, Merlin had Aldan from round start. In fact, outside of King, she's the only character to have her sacred treasure for the entire run that we see them. Technically, Escanor does have it too, but like he doesn't use it as constantly as those two do. So like, legitimately, every single time we see Merlin, she has Aldan, yet Aldan is the most unexplored sacred treasure. Like, every other one has had their side ability revealed, their main purpose revealed, all that good stuff. But like, what does Aldan even do? It doesn't act like a regular conduit, at least in terms of like she puts something in and it goes out stronger. Like Rita, it makes your attack stronger because it's infused with sunshine and it's a sacred treasure. You know, weapon things. Court Shoes, you infuse your magic into it and makes you stronger. Weapon things. Lost Vein, you infuse magic into it, make it stronger. Weapon things. Chasuble, you infuse magic into it and you make it stronger. Weapon things. Like Gideon, same thing. Obviously, all of those are normal. And even the Twin Bow Herod, while being purely magic, also produces the arrows, or Gother can channel the arrows into it and then launch them, presumably making the arrows and their effects stronger. But Aldan just doesn't do that, seemingly. Like, she uses it as a conduit, but does that give it the amp? Like, do weapon amps count for Aldan, even though it's just a spear that, like, no one ever gets hit by? Like, to be fair, no one ever gets hit by Herod either, but I'm still wondering, like, Aldan, what do you do? Especially considering Merlin just has things that allow her to amp her magic on her own. Like, we never got to see Aldan's sacred treasure release. Whenever she used Infinity Enhance, it's literally just her pouring more magic into her attack on her own, because she has a boundless pool of magic. It's not because Aldan acts like that. So I wonder, like, are we going to get an explanation for it? I think the main reason Nakaba never did tell us anything about it is because for the longest time he's had Merlin pushed to the side for multiple reasons. One, she's meant to just be a mysterious character, it'd be like that sometimes. And two, now she is going to be a major antagonist, at least presumably in 4 Nights. So maybe this is the time we're going to learn more about it, but I don't know. It seems strange. I was reviewing the sacred treasures because I was going to make a explain video on all of them and then like go down on each individual one and give more in-depth explanations. But then I got to Aldan in my script. It was the 4th one. I ran into nothing. Like, couldn't find its sacred treasure release. Reread all of Merlin's fights, couldn't find anything specific that it could do that Merlin couldn't do on her own. I don't know what it does. And like, I checked the extra materials too. Like, no one ever explains what it does either. It's just a magical ball that you can look into, I guess. It can be like a sorcerer's ball or like a little magical sightseeing orb where you can see other stuff. But like, generally, the main purposes of Aldan are just entirely mysterious. And, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a little bit confusing. Especially considering, like, when are we going to see Merlin, like, as a proper actual combatant in terms of 4 Nights, right? Because the original series is done. We have no hope of finding out what Aldan can do in the original series anymore. Nagava said he may release some stuff for the original series continuity. It's been years. I don't think so. I just think it's canonically not gonna happen. But with 4 Nights, like, presumably Merlin would be final boss tier, or like not final boss tier, but like pre-final boss. Even though I personally believe Arthur's not going to be the main antagonist of the series, just because it's weird. It's half I don't have faith in Nakaba, and the other half I just don't have faith in Nakaba. But 2, if that is the case, like, Merlin should be popping up relatively soon as an antagonist. But at the same time, no. Like, so far, every time we've seen her in the series, she's kind of just been standing by. Like, we don't see her Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think we see her use an individual, a singular magical spell. Does she even have Aldan? I think she does have Aldan. I'll need to double check that. But we don't see her use any magic at all. Like, no magic is used at all. And I wonder, like, is she rusty? Has she been training? Are we gonna see anything Aldan related through her now? Is Gawain going to get it? Like, legitimately, we know Gawain already has a piece of Rita. That's what the blade is fastened after. Though, admittedly, we still don't know where it is. Like, even in the most recent chapter, I don't think we see Gawain with it. I just don't believe that's the case. But regardless of that, even with that being the case, it could be possible that Gawain gets it and then we see it, because obviously Gawain is meant to be the Merlin surrogate. But I think we are going to legitimately fight Merlin, so maybe we'll get it then. I don't know. Alden's just weird. Mainly because all the sacred treasures were hyped up to be these really, really big, bad endgame tier level. Like, this is next level, Super Saiyan level 5 in terms of weaponry in the verse. Like, you have sticks. Well, no, you start with bare hands, then you go to sticks, then you go to fancy sticks, then you go to metal sticks, then you go to super metal sticks, and then you go to sacred treasures. And the sacred treasures are implied to just be insane, especially going by what King describes as. If you were to take what King said at face value about sacred treasures, and like, no weapon at all is like a pig trying to pick up water from a lake. A regular weapon is a pig getting like a cup of water. Well, it's not necessarily a pig, but still, a person getting a cup of water, and then finally a sacred treasure is picking up the whole lake. Like, the level of power that implies in terms of a multiplier is absolutely insane. I've seen multiple of y'all calc demons. Thank y'all in the comment section down below. Calc that out, and the numbers get wild. It gets tragic, pneumatic. But with that being the case, like, Aldan being one of the ones we see the most, because Merlin always has it on her. She stays strapped with her ball, but we never get to see it in action. We never get to see it in use, and I don't know why. Hypothetically, it could just be because Nakaba is saving it. He's gonna hold it back and be like, hey, you wait and see. I didn't show you anything about it just yet, but wait until I show you the sauce. And we get the sauce, and the sauce is crazy. But I don't know. A deep-seated part of me, just knowing how Nakaba does things sometimes, makes me feel like Nakaba just forgot to give it one. Especially because of how he treated Corchus. Like, Corchus was an afterthought. Like, I'm going to make my whole video talking about Corchus on a separate time, but, like, Corchus, as a sacred treasure for Bond, super afterthoughty. Like, and look at its ability. Its ability is literally something that Bond should be able to do normally. But I'm not going to speak too much more on that, because I know there's many particular Bond stands in the comments who are probably reaching for their keyboards right now. But regardless, at least we got an explanation for it. Like, it came in quick. It was last second. Merlin apparently had it the entire time, and I guess Bond never used its sacred treasure release or whatever. But we got a sacred treasure release. We know what it does. We've seen its, not maybe full potential, because who knows? Once again, with how strong Meliodas got over the years, I can't imagine what kind of juicy, thick, girthy gains Bond has acquired over the years. But with that being the case, I'm really wondering about Aldan, and when, if ever, we're going to see its true, absolute power and maximum potential. Because if we don't, I mean, no harm, no foul, I suppose. But at the same time, it seems a little bit strange that Nakaba went out of his way to introduce it, show us multiple different factors and abilities that it has, but have all those abilities seem intrinsically tied to Merlin herself, or rather than the ball. Every single time she uses it, it is specifically a Merlin-attributed thing. So maybe Aldan's cracked. Like, I'm thinking maybe that's it. Maybe Aldan's just stupid, dumb, crazy cracked, and that's why Nakaba's like, whoa, can't drop the Aldan sauce on these people too soon, because I'll break the narrative. And to be fair, there are some Sacred Treasure releases that do that. Like, physical clone that Lost Vein has is stupid. Like, it is a stupid ability in terms of how good it is. But obviously, Nakaba being Nakaba never uses this to its full potential. Do I have to make a wasted potential video on Lost? But, like, that is crazy. And obviously, we've gone over in multiple videos on how unbelievably cracked the Spirit Spears are. All three of the variations, even the weakest variation of the Spirit Spear, is arguably just as good as, if not definitively, a better weapon than all the other weapons we've seen in the series, and a really good weapon in general. And it's the worst version of it. At least in my opinion, Dahlia has the weakest Spirit Spear. But at least we have it. we have an explanation for it. And Dahlia appeared literally for one movie, and he has not shown up again. He doesn't even get mentioned as a reason. So, I don't know. I'm a little bit interested in Aldan, if you catch my drift. However, that's what I think. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notifications don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do a Patreon down below, and for as low as $1 a month, including exclusive videos, early content, and more. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off.